Hi everyone, I'm Zach with ZD Productions. Thanks for joining me for another story tip today. Wow, been a crazy week, huh? Kind of feels like you've been on a roller coaster and you get over that first hump and you're going down and you're almost to the bottom, but then you keep going down. At a time like this, when everybody's in disaster or survival mode, it's really hard to think about your future or your organization's future. It's kind of like you're just trying to keep your head above the water. I encourage you, as hard as it is, try to take a breath. Try to breathe through all the craziness that's going on right now and try to think bigger. This is our time to be leaders, not just in our organizations, but in our community. This is a defining moment, not just for our culture, but for our organizations and even us personally. As leaders, it is our job to be thinking outside the box, not just to be running in survival mode, but be looking towards the future. Not just trying to keep our heads above water, but looking and thinking about what happens when we get to shore. Even though shore may seem almost impossible to get to at this point. Even as everybody else is just trying to survive, just trying to get through the day, we need to be thinking about what happens when all this is over, because it will be over at some point. Like so many things, this is only a season, and like every other season, it will come to an end. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but it will end. We need to be thinking about what will the new normal look like when it's over, and how are we as an organization going to thrive in it? Like any good story, the second act, the middle section, the main part of a person's journey, is the longest part. And that's where we're at right now. This is the part of the story that takes the hero from where they were, molds them and shapes them and stretches them so that they're able to get to where they end up. Hopefully changed, a better person with a better sense of purpose and where they fit into this world. Now is the time to keep in mind the bigger picture. How can you leverage what you're doing right now and make sure that it's going to be informing where you're going to be? How is it going to help you reach more people down the road? Be a greater impact in your community? When I'm creating a video, I will oftentimes start at the end and kind of work backwards. Might feel a little like cheating, but I find that I'm able to craft the most compelling story that way. I'll start with the end, with that last line, that last thought that really drives my point home. And then I'll go back to the beginning and take all the sound bites, all the pieces that I've recorded that are gonna take my hero from where they were and take them to that ending line that I've already chosen. If I don't have that ending in mind while I'm crafting a story, it's easy to add in little rabbit trails, little things that seem really pertinent to the story in the moment, but in the end, don't get me to where I wanna go. What is your story during this time? How is what you're doing today gonna move you and add to what you'll be doing in 6 months? I'm not saying that you need to know where you're gonna be 6 months from now. Nobody knows where they're gonna be in 6 months from now or what the world's gonna look like. However, be intentional with what you're doing and the time you are spending right now, and be thinking about how that can be an asset to you in the future. I say this to stretch your thinking. Don't be looking at this time as just a 6-week hiatus from life that you just have to get through and then you can get back to normal. What you're doing right now is incredibly important, not just for your clients who you're helping and serving and supporting, but also to your organization and how your organization is going to continue to grow and change. There are new opportunities out there, new partnerships to be made, new ways of doing things that can ultimately benefit your organization and your mission. You just have to keep your eyes open and keep your mind ready to accept those and change and pivot as those opportunities present themselves. You need to be thinking about, what do you want your new normal to look like?